Joining me now on TelecomTV is Kim Mears, who is Managing Director of Infrastructure Delivery with Openreach. Kim, thanks for talking with TelecomTV. How does Openreach fit within the BT group?
So Openreach is part of the wider BT, is a separate functional unit, and we're responsible for what we call the access network. And that's the network from the exchange, the final mile, through to the customer's home. And what we do is we build the infrastructure for the UK, so focusing particularly at the moment around fibre, also new housing developments.
So what's the plan for broadband delivery in the UK? How do the public and private approaches work together?
So it's a really hugely exciting programme. So an ambition to get to circa 90% of the UK covered by the end of 2016 and 95% by the end of 2017. And that's made up of really sort of two programmes. First of all, the commercial programme, which was an investment that we've made into the network for the UK. So just about £2.5 billion worth of spend. And we're now working with government on taking that further into rural broadband. And that means just over 4 million customers we're going to be serving. And today we've already passed over 3.5 million. What we're looking to do in the main is a fibre to the cabinet solution, which is around taking the technology out of the exchange and taking it close to the customer. So the final connect is still via copper. What we are now looking to do is not about how can we only go further, but also how can we go faster. And that's why G.Fast is really, really exciting.
So how is the rollout of broadband progressing in the UK? Are you still on target?
So absolutely on target. So first of all, if you look at the commercial programme, when we first started it in 2008, 2009, we're 18 months ahead of the commitments that we made in respect to that rollout. If we add on top of that the government programme, BT UK, we're dead on target, doing what we said we would do.
Now, it's relatively easy to provide broadband to dense urban environments, but what about rural locations? What about the remaining 5% of the population? How do we ensure that we don't create a disenfranchised minority?
We're passionate about rolling out fibre. And when we begin to look at the final 5, what we should remember is not just rural, it's also about urban, so some of our cities as well, where it's not densely populated, where we've got gaps today. So what we are looking to do is to find further ways of how do we go further and faster. And that involves new technology, fibre to the remote node, looking at, for example, as we're working through with government our contracts, is there the opportunity through some of the money we're giving back, because we've seen a greater degree of take-up and demand, to actually start to model about how do we take it even further. So there are still lots and lots of plans, working really closely with government and all of the local bodies about how do we take this even further.
Do we know how much broadband people are actually using? It's all very well to provision 76 megabits per second VDSL line, but what are people using?
So are they using all of the speed today? The answer is probably not in the main. But again, what we have to look at, this is a long-term investment. And what we are beginning to see through the Internet of Things, and obviously 4G TV, etc., we're really beginning to see the demand begin to go up.
How do you respond to the recent allegations that broadband strategy in the UK is just too little and too late?
So I'm not going to comment against any individual challenge. What I can say is I am so proud of what we've done in respect of delivering the fibre network for the UK. As far as I know, it's the fastest rollout of fibre anywhere in the world. We have thousands of people day in and day out who are making this happen, and they too are hugely proud of the ambition and the achievement. We know we're not finished, we know we've still got more to do, but there is no doubt about the ambition and the commitment to make it happen.
You're hosting a breakfast briefing at the forthcoming Broadband World Forum event in London in October. What will it focus on?
So what we're going to be doing is taking the opportunity again to tell the story of what Openreach is and doing, certainly delivering the fibre network, building Britain's connected future. We're putting together a great panel of experts. So from those who, for example, new technology, industry thinking, regulatory thinking, to truly begin to share knowledge, expertise to understand how can we understand around future needs of consumers going forward.
What do you think the delegates at Broadband World Forum will be talking about? What are going to be the main discussion points by the broadband industry at the show?
So I think it's always around normally the technology, but for me it's the chance to not just talk about the technology, but to share best practice on how do we really make it happen. So how do we take that technology from the lab and take it out there into the field and really deliver a different customer experience.
Kim Mears, thank you very much.
Thank you.